Good evening, Bahamas. Coming up tonight in our news.
We've got details to the country's latest homicide suspect.
Thousands turn out to a local job fair.
And we hear from one of the biggest names in Bahamian Fashion Week.
Our news is brought to you by Alive, the nation's newest and best LTE network.
Good to be alive.
Welcome to our news and thanks for joining us. I'm Jared Higgs. Topping news tonight, police closing the case on another killing as the country's murder count continues to climb at a near record pace. The man hauled before the courts today was charged with the shooting death of another man at Florida court. April Sands reports.
Jacob Roll now being accused of killing Randy Roll, the country's latest homicide, on Tuesday night. 24-year-old Jacob Roll appeared before Her Magistrate Subasola Swain, where he was charged for the murder of Randy Roll. Defending Roll was Keith Seymour. Roll was not allowed to enter a plea and was ordered to return to court on December 12th at 10 a.m. The matter will proceed by way of a voluntary bill of indictment. Earlier this week, police reported the murder occurred Tuesday night, shortly after 8 on Rosebud Street off Balfour Avenue. According to Chief Superintendent Solomon Cash, officers found the Randy Roll's body in an open yard near a residential area. Cash said 2 men walked into the yard where the man was and fired several shots at him. The country has recorded 116 murders for the year. Reporting for our news, I'm April Sands.
Police in Abaco are currently investigating the circumstances surrounding the discovery of the partially decomposed body of a woman in bushes in Marsh Harbor. It was approximately 2 p.m. yesterday when officers were called to SC Boodle Highway to investigate an odd smell in the bushes. That's when police say they discovered the body of 25-year-old Hardaria Boodle. Our news team understands that a man is in custody assisting police with their investigation. Boodle is the niece of North Abaco Family Island Administrator Therese Boodle Bethel. She says the family became concerned when her niece didn't return home on Saturday.
Her family would have noted her and reported to the police that she would have left the premise of her mother's home from Saturday, and it was unlike her to have done so. But the expectation was that when she left, the family just fully expected her to, taking a stroll or some sort, and were expecting her to return back by the evening. But when that was noticed that she didn't call anyone and she didn't return, they alerted the police.
Boodle says the community was shaken by the ordeal.
I saw it in the faces and the response of the persons in general, the immediate family, extended family, friends, and the general community of Abaco. The shock and horror in realizing that a mother was taken in that manner from her children and really murdered, and her body disposed of the elements of the murder. I saw anger, I saw bewilderment. I'm following these on Facebook. There's a sense of tremendous grief and shock that we know that these issues happen throughout the country. Abaco itself has had its share of tragic incidences, but it has struck a very hard nerve with people.
Massive crowds converged on the Kendall Isaacs Gymnasium as Island Luck hosted a job fair today. Giorgio Bain visited the gym and tells us that there were a lot more people than there were jobs available.
Over 1,000 applicants stood here in line at the Kendall Isaacs Gym, hoping to fill just 100 available positions at Island Luck. According to some applicants, they've been unemployed for over 2 years. By 8 a.m., over 800 people had already signed up for the Island Luck Job Fair, according to Operations Manager Antoinette Lutmore. By the time the afternoon session kicked in, the register had over 1,000 names. Lockmore says while there are only 100 available positions, they will be sure to keep the other potentials on file.
We did this last year, and from last year's job fair, we hired 100 persons, and we expected to do the same at this time. We expect to see about 1,000 applicants, but we were prepared for 1,000 applicants. But when we got here at 7:30 this morning, there was already 800 outside. So we do know we'll have record-breaking numbers today. We're looking for all positions. We're looking for family island positions, Grand Bahama, Nassau, and all of the family islands. We're looking for managers, cashiers, housekeepers, security officers, admin staff. We have all positions available, and those that we don't fill at this time, we'll definitely keep a bank.
Chandrika Roll recently returned to New Providence and has been unemployed for over 9 months. She says the struggles of trying to provide for her 3 children without a steady income have been beyond stressful. So she's hoping the job fair can provide her with a much-needed break.
Well, I do have 3 kids that go to school. You have to maintain them as far as grocery, maintenance, and everything that goes with being a parent. Overhead expenses, fuel for vehicle to get them to and from school is hard. But with the background effect of it, I do have a talent where I do nails. So I was using that as a backdrop to help me with the maintenance of my kids. I do have management skills and HR skills, but if they're willing to make me a cashier or a janitor, honey, I'm willing to take it because it's a paycheck that ain't nobody gave me.
Sonia Stiles is hoping to fill a customer service position. She hasn't worked in nearly 2 years, and with a 14-year-old son to provide for, she relies heavily on her Christian faith to help her get through the hard times.
How long have you not been working this time?
From January 2016.
Tell me how hard it's been surviving without a regular income.
It's hard because I'm single, I'm a Christian, but you still have to survive, still have to work. Helps you grow, maintain a responsibility. I have a 14-year-old son, his father passed away, and it hasn't been easy. Thank God I'm living at home. I don't have to go there and pay rent, but it's good to be working.
Brandon McKinsey has not been working for over a month, but is trying to fill a security position at Island Luck to help his parents with bills. McKinsey says it hurts to hear his parents argue over money, knowing he isn't in a position to help.
Right now they could help me provide right now on certain things, because when they need stuff and I right there listening, I just feel hurt sometimes that I can't do that and then I'm old enough to. And even though I'm looking and I'm not getting anything, I can't say anything. So that's what I open to change.
Reporting for our News, I'm Giorgio Bain.
Thanks, Giorgio. As 2 government ministers visited the site of an overturned barge in Long Island, the executive director of the Bahamas National Trust, Eric Carey, says the response to the situation was inadequate. The diesel-filled barge was spotted off Grays, Long Island nearly 2 weeks ago, and since then, the situation has shown little signs of remedy, with conflicting reports over the extent of the environmental damage suffered to the northeast Long Island coast. Carey says a more serious approach to mitigating disasters is crucial.
What if this were, 500,000 gallons of crude oil sitting there, and someone sitting there saying it's going to be okay, we're going to move it?
The Bahamas National Trust executive director says he isn't satisfied with the response to tens of thousands of gallons of fuel entering the sea off the coast of Long Island. The environmentalist also points to the dangers posed by hundreds of utility poles in the ocean and wonders if there would have been a different response if the vessel was near to New Providence.
What if this thing was on the east coast, of Paradise Island? Would the same decision have been made? Would now Atlantis have been inundated with plastic and diesel oil, etc.? Was location a factor in why the decision that wasn't made? So we've read the reports from the Port Department, and they said there's little environmental damage. I'm not sure how they assess that. We've advised the Port Department, and we've certainly copied our correspondence to the Minister of Environment, that there needs to be an investigation that takes place.
Earlier this week, Minister of Transport Frankie Campbell and Minister for the Environment Romuald Ferreira led a different assessment team to the site of the barge. A BIS report on the visit released yesterday states that no spilled oil or environmental damage was caused by the abandoned barge, as was reported by numerous concerned residents voicing their opinions on social media. That quote isn't attributed to any specific person, so it's difficult to say if it emerged from this new assessment team. Neither minister was quoted in the article, and requests for comments were unsuccessful up to news time. The National Trust Executive Director believes too much emphasis has been placed on downplaying the impact of the environment as opposed to recognizing the potential shortfalls in what transpired. Mr. Carey warns that someday a similar situation could easily occur.
The National Trust would like to know, why it wasn't made, and also a lot of the public want to know. And I think that's what we've asked the government to try and help us figure out, so that the next time this happens, because it will happen, there are ships passing through our waters with literally millions of gallons of crude oil and other refined petroleum products, etc. And we don't have a lot of comfort that we have a automatic response mechanism that could prevent a simple accident from becoming a major environmental or marine ocean pollution disaster.
The boat remains off the coast of Long Island in what the BIS report describes as an appropriate final resting place. Still to come on our news, we hear from the outgoing PLP chairman, Bradley Roberts, and our Jasmine Brown rounds out her Our News and Sunshine Insurance Breast Cancer Month series.